Hello and welcome. I hope that you are all doing well. Thank you so much for joining me here today to talk about books. And we are talking about the last book for July. And it is a young adult fantasy. And for this particular book, we're talking 14 years old and older. It's the second book in the Little Thieves series. It is Painted Devils by Margaret Owen. When I first started reading it, I wasn't sure if this was the last book of the series or if it was going to continue on. And then right before the end of the book, things start wrapping up that happened in this book, but new questions are posed. And so it's apparent that it is going to be a series that is longer than 2 books. So I'm going to try to talk about it without giving away too many of the details of what happens in the first book or in the second book. So it's going to be a little vague, but it'll also help give you a feel for what the book is about. After all the events in Little Thieves, Vanya has questions about her birth family. Why did her mother give her away? And if she were to find her family, knowing all the things that she's been involved in, would they even welcome her? Vanya has left the city and the people from Little Thieves behind her. She's traveling, she's crossing a bridge, and her bag of rubies falls into the river. And so to enlist the help of the local people, she sees a passing sheep farmer and she tells him that she had a vision of a woman in red. And this woman told her that drops of red had fallen into the river. And if the village people retrieve those drops of red before the sun sets, that she will bestow blessings upon them. Although he's skeptical, the sheep farmer and his brother agree to help Vanya, in fact, inviting her to stay at their home while she's in the area. And when Vanya wonders why, they just tell her that they have their own reasons for helping her. Without meaning to, however, Vanya has created a vision of a lady that others decide to follow. The villagers believe this red maid is helping them, and some will do whatever they believe she is telling them to do. Vanya is sent on a quest to help someone she knows, and she leaves the village in the care of others. But her search will not be easy. And things don't go so well in the town she left behind either. And although Vanya has left the people and places from Little Thieves behind, some of those characters will make an appearance in this book as well. Painted Devils explores what happens when people stop acting as individuals and crowd psychology takes over. There are a few content warnings at the start of the book, but most of the things happen outside of the story. But if you have any sensitivities while you are reading, check those content warnings. As the author says at the beginning, if you were able to read Little Thieves without any problems, you should be fine with this one as well. What are some other books that you can read for a similar experience? And we are going to focus on books with a folk tale or fairy tale feel. And I've got 3 of them for you. Some of these you may have heard about already, but they are so good I am going to mention them again. Let's start with Belladonna by Adalyn Grace. Xenia was orphaned as a baby and lived with her grandmother until her grandmother died as well. Now she is 19 and she has gone from family member to family member for years. Most of those who have taken her into care for her are interested in her inheritance that she will gain. Most of these family members have also died early. And at each of these deaths, Xenia sees death as a person. And she has talked with Death and finally told him to just leave her alone. Now she's off to her last remaining relative, Lillian, and Lillian's family at their estate, Thorngrove. Silas, who works in the stables, arrives to escort Xenia to Thorngrove. And when she arrives, she learns that Lillian has died. Her family has not taken this well, and in their grief, they have grown apart from one another. Elijah, her husband, goes from deep sorrow and isolation to wild parties. Their son Percy is trying to connect with his father, but is angry because Elijah won't connect with him. And Blythe, their daughter, seems to be suffering from the same illness that took Lillian. The family's relationships are broken. When Lillian's ghost makes an appearance, Senia realizes that Lillian was poisoned and Blythe is also being poisoned. Senia must make a deal with Death himself and enlist his aid to discover what is going on and who is behind it. Throughout the course of the book, Senia experiences many emotions and a lot of confusion. The author has created a Gothic-infused world that's perfect for fans of Gothic stories. Gallant by V.E. Schwab. Olivia has grown up at a school for girls and knows what her future holds. She'll either be married off to an older man, or she will be turned out of the school when she ages out of the system. A letter arrives from her mother's family, inviting her to come to the one place that her mother's diary has warned her to avoid at all costs, Gallant. When she arrives, she learns that the uncle who wrote the letter could not possibly have written the letter. He has died, and no one at the house is expecting her. Her cousin Matthew, in fact, is very clear that he wants her to leave immediately. But Olivia doesn't want to leave, the only place where she has ever felt at home. Olivia realizes Gallant has secrets, and she is determined to uncover them. I love the format of the book where the story is intermingled with the diary that her mother wrote, and the end pages are just beautiful. Our final book is Daughter of the Moon Goddess by Sue Lynn Tan. Xingyin is used to being alone. What she doesn't realize is that she is being hidden from the celestial emperor who exiled her mother. When her magic flares, Xingyin is discovered and must leave her home and her mother both. Alone, she makes her way to the celestial kingdom, where she finds wonder and secrets. Xingyin disguises herself and learns alongside the emperor's son. In hopes of saving her mother, Xingyin embarks on a quest confronting legendary creatures and enemies across the earth. Daughter of the Moon Goddess was inspired by the legend of the Chinese moon goddess, in which a young woman is trying to save her mother and is pitted against the most powerful in the realm. And there we are. I hope that you enjoyed this look at Painted Devils by Margaret Owen and other books with a folktale or fairy tale feel. I will be back later in the week with a fun Create project, and I hope you'll join me for that. In our last video, I said that I'd have what I'm reading in August at the end of this week. However, August doesn't start till next week. So we're going to make a little adjustment. We'll hold off what I'm reading in August for August 1st. And those of you who have been following me for a few years will remember that August is one of the months in which I participate in a readathon. So the selection process for my books for August will be a little different. Thanks again for joining me today. I will see you soon, and I hope you will join me for those upcoming videos. Until then, I hope that you enjoy all that you do and all that you read. And thank you.